Imagine this. Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, and Neymar, all three wearing the same jersey again. Not Barcelona, not Paris, but Inter Miami. It sounds crazy. And yet, right now, this is one of the biggest stories surrounding Major League Soccer. Because Neymar's future is becoming more and more uncertain, and Inter Miami is once again being mentioned as a possible destination for the Brazilian superstar. But there is something you need to understand before we get too excited. Neymar has not signed with Inter Miami. There is no official agreement. However, the rumors have become much louder in recent days, and some major reports are now suggesting that a move to Miami in 2027 could actually be possible. And if that happens, MLS could witness something we haven't seen in almost 10 years. The reunion of one of the most famous attacking trios in modern soccer. Messi, Suarez, Neymar, the MSN. And this is where things get really interesting. Back in Barcelona, these three players were absolutely terrifying. Between 2014 and 2017, Messi, Suarez, and Neymar became one of the most dominant attacking combinations in world soccer. They weren't just three superstars playing together. They understood each other. Messi could create. Neymar could destroy defenses one-on-one. And Suarez could finish almost anything inside the box. They won trophies. They scored an incredible number of goals. And, most importantly, they created a connection that football fans still remember today. Then, everything changed. Neymar left Barcelona for Paris Saint-Germain. The MSN was over, and the three players went their separate ways. Almost a decade later, however, the possibility of seeing them together again has suddenly returned. And this time, the destination could be Miami. According to recent reports, Inter Miami has been interested in the possibility of bringing Neymar to the club, while Neymar's future beyond his current Santos contract remains uncertain. His contract is currently expected to run through December 31st, 2026. That means the timing is extremely important. If Neymar doesn't extend with Santos, he could potentially become available for the next chapter of his career. And Inter Miami could be one of the most attractive destinations in the world for him. Why? Because Messi is already there. And Neymar and Messi aren't just former teammates. They're close friends. They shared some of the best years of their careers at Barcelona. And we've already seen Messi reunite with former Barcelona teammates in Miami. Luis Suarez is there. The relationship between Messi and Suarez has continued in MLS. So from a sporting and personal perspective, Neymar joining them makes a lot of sense. But there is one massive problem. MLS is not European soccer. You can't simply decide to sign three superstars and put them on the field. There are league rules. There are designated player slots. There are salary cap considerations. And Inter Miami's roster situation would have to be carefully managed if the club really wanted to make a move for Neymar. Recent analysis has specifically pointed to Miami's designated player situation as one of the major obstacles to a potential Neymar deal. And there's another question. Would Neymar actually want to come to MLS? At 34 years old, his career is entering a completely different phase. After his years at Barcelona, PSG, Al Hilal, and Santos, Neymar has also had to deal with significant injury problems. So this isn't simply about signing a famous player. Inter Miami would have to ask a much bigger question. Can Neymar still be Neymar? Because if the answer is yes, then MLS could be looking at something enormous. Imagine Inter Miami going into a game with Lionel Messi creating chances, Neymar playing on the left, and Luis Suarez waiting inside the box. For American soccer fans who may have discovered Messi through MLS, this would also be a completely different level of global attention. Every Inter Miami game would become an international event. More eyes, more media, more sponsors, more fans, and potentially more pressure. But here's the part that makes this story even more interesting. There are people around Neymar's world who are now openly talking about the possibility of him joining Messi in MLS. Former Brazil international Felipe Melo recently fueled the speculation even further, claiming he had heard that Neymar could play for Inter Miami from January. That claim has been widely reported, but it is still not an official confirmation from Neymar or Inter Miami. And that's exactly why we have to be careful. Because right now, there is a huge difference between Neymar is going to Inter Miami, and Neymar could go to Inter Miami. We are currently in the second situation. But even that possibility is enough to get the entire soccer world talking. And if Neymar really does become available at the end of 2026, Inter Miami may have a decision to make. Do they try to reunite the MSN? Or do they move in another direction? And there's one more major question that could completely change this story. What happens to Luis Suarez if Neymar actually arrives? Because that's where this potential reunion becomes much more complicated than simply putting three old friends back on the same team. And that's exactly what we're going to look at next. But before we start imagining Neymar, Messi and Suarez playing together again, there is one major problem that Inter Miami would have to solve: the MLS rules. Because unlike Europe, Major League Soccer operates with a very different roster system. Inter Miami cannot simply say, "We want Neymar," and sign him tomorrow. The club has to work around salary rules, designated player spots, and the structure of its roster. And that's where this potential transfer becomes much more complicated. But if Miami can find a way to make it work, the reward could be enormous. Because Neymar wouldn't just be another big-name signing. He would be one of the biggest global stars ever to enter Major League Soccer. And the timing could be perfect. By 2027, Lionel Messi would be entering the final stage of his career. Luis Suarez would also be much further along in his career. So if Inter Miami wants to create one last incredible chapter with this generation of stars, bringing Neymar to South Florida could be the ultimate move. Think about the story. Messi and Suarez already reunited in Miami. Now Neymar arrives. Three players who once dominated Europe, reunited in America. And this time, they're not chasing the Champions League. They're chasing MLS trophies. They're chasing the League's Cup. They're trying to create something that could become one of the most iconic stories in MLS history. But there's another reason Neymar could be interested. Miami fits Neymar. The city has the lifestyle, the international audience, the Brazilian and Latin American communities, the global entertainment culture, and, most importantly, Neymar would not have to start from zero. He already knows Messi. He already knows Suarez. And he would be joining a club that has built its identity around global superstars. That's something very different from simply moving to another MLS team. But there's still one enormous question. What version of Neymar would arrive? Because this is not the same Neymar who destroyed defenses at Barcelona. The Brazilian superstar is now 34 years old, and injuries have been a major part of his recent career. So Inter Miami would have to make sure they aren't paying for the Neymar of 2015, when they're actually getting the Neymar of 2027. That distinction could determine whether this becomes one of the greatest transfers in MLS history, or a massive disappointment. And there is another factor: Neymar's current situation at Santos. He returned to the Brazilian club because he wanted to reconnect with the place where his professional career began. So leaving Santos again would not necessarily be an easy decision. If he stays, he could continue being the biggest star at the club where he became famous. If he leaves, Miami could offer him something completely different: a final adventure, a reunion with Messi and Suarez, and potentially one last opportunity to compete at the highest level of attention. That's why this story is so fascinating. It's not simply about Neymar. It's about timing. It's about legacy. And it's about whether three players who once changed football could write one final chapter together. But let's look at the bigger picture. Because if Neymar joins Inter Miami, the impact wouldn't stop at Miami. It could change the entire MLS. Think about what happened when Messi arrived. MLS suddenly received an enormous amount of attention from people who had never seriously followed the league before. Then came other global names. Now we're talking about players like Thomas Muller, Son Heung-min, Case Moreau, and Alexis Sanchez entering the league. And if Neymar joins Messi, MLS would have another global superstar at exactly the right moment. It would send a very clear message to the rest of the soccer world. MLS is no longer simply a place where European stars go to finish their careers. It is becoming one of the destinations where major international stars can build a completely new chapter. And Inter Miami is at the center of that transformation. But let's be clear about one thing. As of right now, Neymar is not an Inter Miami player. There is no official transfer. There is no confirmed agreement. And there is no guarantee that the MSN will reunite. What we have right now is a combination of Neymar's uncertain future, reports linking him with Miami, the relationship he has with Messi and Suarez, and new comments that have pushed the rumors even further. But that's exactly why you should keep an eye on this story. Because if Neymar does decide to leave Santos at the end of 2026, Inter Miami could suddenly become one of the most important destinations in the conversation. And imagine what that would mean. Messi, Neymar, Suarez, one final dance. This time, in Major League Soccer. So now I want to hear from you. Would you like to see Neymar reunite with Messi and Suarez at Inter Miami? Or do you think Neymar should stay in Brazil and finish his career with Santos? Let me know your opinion in the comments. And if you want to stay updated on the biggest MLS stories, transfers, and superstar moves, make sure you subscribe. Because if Neymar really does come to Miami, you already know we're going to be talking about it.